I'd like to say a few words about technique. We feel that this is the most important part of throwing the shot put. Without it, all the strength and conditioning in the world will not help you throw the shot any further. In the weight training segment, I'm going to cover and show you some of the lifts that I perform in training for the shot put. We're not going to give you any specific program because each individual situation may vary based on time and facilities. The spin and glide technique represents two styles of throwing, each one with its own characteristics that will benefit certain athletes. The spin, although a little more difficult to comprehend than the traditional glide, offers a fluid motion that can generate incredible torque and power. The glide also offers torque and power and may be easier to master. We feel the glide generally requires more brute strength, whereas the spin may be suited for someone with less strength and more all-around athletic ability. The following segment on the spin and glide demonstrates to you good sound technique, which can be used as a foundation in developing the style of each individual thrower. The grip. The shot should rest on the base of the fingers. The fingers are slightly spread with the thumb used only as a support and guide for the shot. The thumb should be able to move freely when the shot is placed on the neck. Placement. Placement of the shot is generally positioned at the base of the neck below the ear. I use the power throw or stand throw in order to train the activation of the leg movement before any movement of the upper body. This creates a feeling of torque and separation. It helps me to feel the timing of the throw and allows me to warm up prior to the full technique. The emphasis is on technique and not on distance. Power throwing may also aid as a strength exercise. Heavier than normal shots thrown from the power position develop specific strength. Weighted shots should only be used if proper technique is maintained. Technique segment, power throw. Toe-heel relationship. Proper foot placement in the power position is very important. For right-handers, the right foot heel will line up with the toes of the left foot. This is commonly referred to as the heel-toe position. This stance will allow the right hip to fully turn through the throw. This can be adjusted for each individual thrower. The throw. Once observing the proper stance, you will notice I keep the shot outside my right leg. My body weight remains back over the supporting right leg. The right heel stays off the surface. My head and shoulders face the back of the circle. The left arm extends out and starts to swing upward and lead the throw. The left leg starts its block while the right leg and hip swing or pivot counterclockwise and start to drive the hip by extending the right leg up and out over the toe board. It is important to keep the right shoulder well behind the right hip until you strike the throw with your arm. The strike of the right arm along with the extension of the block of the left leg becomes dominant in the release. Although this aids in linear momentum, you must remember that the majority of force will come from the torque that is created by separation of the right hip before the right shoulder. The left leg block will accelerate the release. Proper finishing position will help the thrower to complete the rotation at the finish and prevent falling. I finish with my right heel down in contact with the circle, my right shoulder and arm up, and my eyes facing 90 degrees to the left of the throwing area. Power position drills. Pop turn drill. I use the pop turn drill for concentrated emphasis on my right leg drive in the power position phase of the throw. It works because the entire throwing motion is done off the right leg. I concentrate on performing proper technique in the drill and not on distance. This drill is excellent for both glide and spin. I start in a power position with all my weight over the right leg. Then I lift my left foot off the circle, tap it slightly, and then rotate the right foot and hip and release the shot totally off the right foot. I mentally sequence the drill with this series of cues. Tap, turn, push. Tap the left foot, turn the right foot, push and extend the right leg.
The key to watch is that the right leg drive is the trigger that propels the throw of the shot and not the arm.
In either spin or glide, both feet need to turn and accelerate during the power position phase in order to work the hip through the throw. I like the double pivot drill because it helps me to get the feeling of turning both feet when I reach the power position. Start in a power position with your weight centered between your feet in an approximate parallel squat position. At the same time, turn both feet towards the throw and extend both legs. I emphasize driving straight up and rotate my feet and legs. The shot path is higher than a normal power throw.
Ron makes a good point about both feet turning to aid acceleration in the power position of the total throw. If the feet do not turn, the hip does not come. If the hip does not get through, you have lost the impact of the throw.
Towel drill. The towel drill is another method to teach separation and keeping the shot back behind the hip. Start in a power position while holding the end of the towel with your left hand. Have your partner hold the other end of the towel while positioned in the back of the circle. Perform a power throw with your partner resisting and forcing the thrower's upper body to stay back with torque. Release the towel when the feet and hip are fully rotated at the finish.
There are coaches who feel that the towel drills cause the athlete to think more about what their hands are doing when they release the towel than what the focus of the drill should be. I believe the towel drill allows the athlete to feel the lower extremities push in front of the upper body, thus creating torque.
No reverse power drill. The no reverse power drill works two principles. First, it emphasizes the block of the left side. Many times athletes will warm up throwing the shot without using the block. Second, it helps the athlete to concentrate on driving the right hip into a strong block. Spin technique, full spin, stance, start position. I start by straddling the center line in the back of the circle with my feet slightly wider than shoulder width.
The reason I like the feet in a parallel or straddle position versus the right leg back or a stride position is that in a stride position, the right leg stays behind and throws off the valuable timing and balance that is so essential coming out of the back of the circle.
Full spin technique. In performing the full spin, I try to maintain an attitude of control and balance throughout the entire throw. Technique, back of the circle. Once again, I start with a stance approximately shoulder width, with the feet straddling the center line in the back of the circle. I maintain a classic athletic position, head up, body erect, shoulders square, legs apart in an approximate half squat position, and my left arm is extended and parallel to the ground. I keep most of my weight on the left leg during a slight wind-up. This makes it easier to shift my weight onto my left leg when I start the turn. I swing out with a wide right leg, keeping the foot low. A wide right leg will generate much more power than a narrow right leg. Once I am facing towards the front of the circle and start my push off my left leg, I keep my hips and shoulders level, with my left arm extended and pointing to the direction of the throw. As I push off, I lead with my right hip, keeping the shot back. As my right foot comes to the center of the circle, it is dropped directly below my right knee as I make contact with the circle.
I watch the turning on the ball of the left foot. Watch to make sure that the knees are apart with a wide right leg. I make sure that his weight is shifted from right to left. I watch out for leaning into the center of the circle. And I also watch the left arm should never pull ahead of the left knee as you rotate out of the back of the circle.
As my left leg wheels to the toe board, my left arm is extended across my chest, crossing my right thigh. This enables me to stay back on the throw, creating torque and separation. I keep the right foot rotating and accelerating through the throw.
In the middle of the circle, I make sure the foot continues to turn in the center of the circle. The hip must lead the throw. The shoulder or shot should not get ahead of the hip. In the wheel, the left leg passes through and sticks the toe board. I watch to see that the athlete does not drift into his or her left leg. The shot must stay back.
My hip rotates through and into a strong block. The right leg initiates the left arm to move together. The left arm should swing up and over rather than out and around. I reach and extend it out over the toe board following the shot.
Once we get to the front of the circle, I watch the point of the right hip. Watch the extension of the right leg. Watch the block on the left side. And again, making sure the shot is always kept back.
Spin drills. Step around drill. This drill is excellent for teaching beginners the full rotation technique. Start by taking small 6-inch steps around the back of the circle until you are facing the throwing area. At this point, the athlete can perform the rest of the technique or continue stepping through the entire throw. This drill allows the athlete to feel correct body positions at any point in the spin. As the athlete gains confidence, they can increase the size of the steps as they perform the drill.
Again, balance is so important in the spin. This drill enables the thrower to feel control. Watch to see the athlete is not leaning or that their shoulders get in front of their hip as they step around.
360-degree drill. This is the best drill I know to teach balance and proper body position when turning out of the back. Start in the basic throwing position in the back of the circle. Then rotate on your left foot until you make a full 360-degree turn, ending up in the same starting position. Try to imitate the throw as you perform the drill. The goal is to finish with the same body position as you started. If an athlete cannot make a full 360-degree turn in the same body position, they are not truly balanced.
Once you have evolved from the step around spin drill, you are ready for this one. You have to be balanced and have proper weight on the ball of the left foot. Check to make sure the athlete keeps their right leg out to maintain distance between their knees. Also check their upper body to see that it does not move ahead of their lower body.
Wheel drill. I use this drill to practice my wheel. Put the right foot in the middle of the circle and then pivot and wheel continuously to opposite ends of the circle. I concentrate on picking up the left foot, closely tucking it behind the right knee, and then sticking it quickly down at the toe board. A quick, tight wheel is essential in the throw.
I feel this is a good drill to work on balance. Balance is such a key factor when throwing with a spin technique. Pivoting is done on the ball of the foot. This assures balance. The left foot must come through tight and quick. It is important not to rush this drill as it will throw balance off.
Half-turn drill. I use the half-turn drill to emphasize the right foot turn, lower body mechanics, and practice the timing at the finish of the throw. I try to keep a fairly erect body position with a good bend in my legs. At the start, I concentrate on a very quick wheel of the left leg. I try to tuck my left leg behind the right knee and quickly stick the left foot to the board. At the same time, I emphasize the turning of the right foot. I try to feel as if I am grinding my right foot into the circle. As the right foot turns, the legs straighten and drive the right hip into an extended left leg. I finish the throw with both legs fully extended and the right hip rotated into a proper finishing position.
I watch to make sure that the shot put does not move ahead of Ron's hip. The shot must stay back behind the hip to increase velocity at the time of release. Along with the shot put staying back, the emphasis must be on his right foot turning in the center of the ring and a quick left foot into the board. The last coaching point on this drill is to make sure that his right hip has rotated and extended into his left leg.
Three-quarter turn drill. In the three-quarter turn drill, I am concentrating on the same points as in the half-turn drill. I like it because it is a natural progression into the full spin. Since I am carrying greater momentum to the front, I have to concentrate even more on my technique. The key is to keep my weight back over the right leg as I turn in the middle.
Since Ron is traveling from the back of the circle, I watch to see that he maintains good balance, keeps his head up and shoulders square as he approaches his power position. As Ron moves into the power position, I look for the same visual cues as in the half-turn drill.
Towel drill. The same towel drill can be incorporated into many different phases of the throw for both the glide and the spin. Here are a few examples you may want to try. Spin, no arm drill. When I feel I am stopping my hip rotation in the middle and at the finish I am using my arm too soon, I will use this drill. I throw the shot without extending and pushing my arm. I concentrate only on my lower body and let the shot pop off my hand. Since my focus is on my legs, the upper body relaxes and stays back and torqued, giving good separation and the feeling of proper timing. Distance is not a factor.
The full glide, the back of the circle, lower body. The majority of weight is placed on a right leg with the left leg added for balance. As you descend on the right leg, your left leg draws back and up, maintaining balance. Then the left leg draws in so that the left knee is even with the right knee. The athlete is now coiled and ready to drive to the toe board. Upper body. In the upper body, the shoulders should be square to the back of the circle. The left arm remains very relaxed. The shot should remain positioned outside the right knee or kept as far back as the athlete and coach feel necessary. When the athlete has gathered themselves in this coiled position before their drive to the toe board, check to make sure the hips are lower than the shoulders. If the shoulders are lower than the hips, there is a tendency to stand up prematurely. The drive across the circle to the power position. It is important that a good extension across a circle should keep the athlete relatively low with his hips and shoulders closed. If the athlete opens their shoulders early, they will lose torque. The hips will open slightly when the right foot turns and lands in the middle. The drive is started with a strong push off the right leg with a simultaneous extension of the left leg. The left toe should be kept low and driven just slightly left of the center of the toe board. The push off the right leg will end up with the athlete leaving the back of the circle off their heel. As the right foot leaves the ground, it should be pulled in and turned quickly so that it lands directly underneath the athlete in the center of the circle. The right foot is now facing 3 o'clock. The toe board reflects 12 o'clock and the back of the ring is 6 o'clock. The right foot should land instantaneously before the left foot touches the base of the toe board. Again, it is important to be balanced and to develop an explosive push off the right leg and extension off the left leg. Shoulders should not open. Shots should be kept behind the right hip. Power position to the throw. It is important to remember that the power position is a passive position, which means that the thrower does not stop or pause into this position and continue to throw from there. All of Ron's power and energy builds from the back of the circle through the power position and into the release. Upon landing correctly into the power position, the shot is kept outside the right leg and Ron's body weight remains back over the supporting right leg. The right heel never touches the surface. His head and shoulders still facing the back of the circle. The left arm extends out and starts to swing upward to lead the throw. The left leg starts its block while the right leg and hips swing or turn counterclockwise and start to drive the right hip by his extending the right leg up and out over the toe board. It is important to keep the right shoulder well behind the right hip until you strike the throw with your arm. The block of the left side accelerates the throw. The strike of the right arm on the shot together with the extension of the left leg are dominant in the release. Although this aids in linear momentum to the shot, one must remember that the majority of the force comes from the torque that is created by separation of the right hip hitting the strike position before the right shoulder. The release. In the release, watch to make sure the right elbow does not drop. The left shoulder has stopped momentarily and will drop just a bit to help lift the right side through the throw. Ron maintains contact with his feet on the ground as he releases the shot. This enables him to maintain maximum force throughout the throw.
Glide drills. Push pivot drill. This drill is used to develop the pushing leg so that it will turn and pivot when landing in the center of the circle. The athlete must concentrate on keeping their shoulders square to the back of the circle as they push and pivot. Full step across drill. This drill is good for beginning throwers. It teaches them to extend the drive leg and push off the heel of the pushing leg. The coach should check to see that when the athlete hits the power position, that the shot is out over the bent right leg. Line drill. The purpose of this drill is to develop a proper glide or drive out of the back of the circle. Using any straight line as a guide, the athlete will work the push and drive off the right heel and the drive and extension of the left leg. The right foot will land on its ball directly underneath the athlete with the foot turned 90 degrees. The right foot must also land just a split second before the left to enable a flow and buildup of momentum from the back of the circle into and through the power position. No reverse drill. I use no reverse drills to emphasize my block release position.
In this drill, I look for all of the characteristics of the full glide, except the emphasis will be pointed out on the block. I look for the right hip to push and rotate over the toe board and the block on the left side to be solid.
Glide stop no arm drill. The emphasis is on the lower body delivering the throw. It is a good drill that keeps the athlete from going to their arm too soon. The feeling of separation between their lower and upper body creates the torque that is essential. There are many programs to facilitate weight training for today's throwers, all of which are pretty good. Facility, time, and experience will dictate which program is best for you. Your main emphasis should be to develop and follow a consistent and progressive weight training program. The following lifts and exercises are used at various times of the year in my program. I have included these lifts as examples which you may care to use. Hang power snatch. Olympic style squat snatch. Hang power clean. Squat clean and jerk. Bar twists. Front squats. Back squats. One-legged squats. Push jerk. Continuous clean and jerk. Military press. Flat bench press. Incline press. Straight leg lifts. Side-ups on Roman chair. Sit-ups. Plate walks. It is important to maintain a consistent conditioning program throughout your training. A combination of running and plyometric drills incorporated with your weight training and throwing will help to develop speed, coordination, explosiveness, and increase flexibility.